Beijing's atmosphere is eerily tense, military vehicles are entering the capital, the PLA Daily suddenly declares that the arrow is on the string, and even more shocking, a list of a gang of 4 in the military has surfaced, featuring none other than Peng Liyuan. Some reports claim Xi Jinping and Kai Chi could be forced out at the fourth plenum, with former Premier Jiabao as the real operator behind the scenes. Military reshuffles, propaganda realignments, abrupt shifts in party wins, a storm of power is quietly erupting from within Zhongnanhai. Don't miss the next drop, subscribe and enable the bell. Ahead of the CCP's fourth plenum, Beijing feels unusually taut. Military vehicles are entering the city, the PLA Daily has suddenly issued a readiness signal that the arrow is on the string, and a purported list of a gang of 4 in the military is circulating online, featuring Peng Liyuan. Meanwhile, an astonishing claim has spread: Xi Jinping and Politburo Standing Committee member Kai Chi may be pressured by party elders to step down at the plenum, with former Premier Jiabao acting as the true hand behind the scenes. A reconfiguration of military power, shifts within the propaganda apparatus, and a sudden change in inter-party currents. This is no longer mere rumor, but a power turn brewing inside Zhongnanhai. On the eve of the 20th Central Committee's fourth plenum, overseas independent commentator Kai Shinkuan dropped a bombshell: Xi Jinping and PSC member Kai Chi could be forced to resign at the meeting. Party elders and the military are said to have reached a tacit understanding, pushing the two to relinquish posts on grounds of age and health. Kai says the information comes from a person with frequent contact with Zhongnanhai's top echelon who understands CCP politics, and he provided several chat screenshots as evidence. Even more intriguing, the message stressed that at present all internal party documents submitted upward or sent downward must be reviewed by former Premier Jiabao. In effect, the CCP has formed a temporary elder-led supervisory mechanism, symbolizing that top decision-making power is being redistributed. This would mean the fourth plenum may look like a routine meeting on the surface but in reality could become an elder-led power reconfiguration. Kai further pointed to another factor speeding the push to oust Xi: a rupture between Xi and CMC Vice Chair Zhang Youxia. His source claims the rift is irreconcilable, each treats the other as a mortal political foe. The leak also says the top security system has been replaced. Zhang Youxia and CMC Chief of Staff Liu Zhenli are said to have already taken over the military, establishing an independent chain of command, so orders no longer follow Xi. This suggests Xi's practical control over the military is slipping. At the same time, Beijing's and Zhongnanhai's security systems have been directly taken over by the military. According to the leak, the Central Guard Bureau and the Beijing garrison are under CMC control. Both the Central Theater Commander and Political Commissar are missing, their command's ultimate disposition unclear, but practical control has shifted to Zhang Youxia and Liu Zhenli. On September 28, netizens filmed large numbers of military vehicles entering Beijing. The next day, many tanks appeared on the capital streets. If the above is true, the series of changes shows Xi's military authority may be being stripped in a planned manner. Kai argues, if Xi gives up any position during the fourth plenum, party, military, or state, it would symbolize an irreversible shake in his power structure, and the next 2 years would enter a disintegration period. If there is no loosening at the plenum, it becomes hard to say what happens at the 21st Party Congress. But Kai also stresses that under the CCP's black box politics, surprises abound. No one can truly predict the form of a coup, but when it happens it's often more sudden than expected, just like the 1976 arrest of the original Gang of 4, done behind closed doors. Echoing Kai's analysis is a source calling himself an ordinary person inside the firewall, who in a recent video disclosed a more concrete plan to force Xi to step down. He says former party chief Hu Jintao has drafted a political agenda centered on the assassination of Li Keqiang, preparing to force Xi to resign at the plenum on that basis. According to the leak, Hu plans to have Xi step down for health reasons. If Xi refuses, Hu Qinhua would formally move to launch a full investigation into Li Keqiang's death. The decision group is said to have both testimonial and physical evidence, and once a case is opened, Xi and his core circle, including Kai Chi, Wang Xiaohong, and He Weidong, will not escape culpability. The leak also claims that Hu Jintao, Wen Jiabao, Zhang Youxia, and Wang Yang have divided tasks. Zhang Youxia controls military power and venue security, Liu Zhenli orders the 82nd Group Army into Beijing, Hu Qinhua handles the meeting agenda and step-down motion, when Jiabao serves as head of the anti-Xi handling group, to close the case within 2 years. This overlaps with parts of Kai's leak, both mention transfer of military power, elder intervention, and Wen Jiabao's involvement. The difference is that the ordinary person inside offers more concrete, operational details, pointing to a carefully planned intra-system coup. Anti-CCP influencer Jiang Wangjing presents a different version. He claims the plenum has pre-decided the next personnel layout, Li Chang to become first vice chairman of the CMC and Xi's successor, Zhang Xingmin to replace He Weidong as CMC vice chair, Zhong Xiaojun to be promoted to CMC member and head of the political work department. These are all Xi loyalists. Zhang's account stands in sharp contrast to Kai and the ordinary person. The three leaks intersect, with different sources and positions, yet converge on one focus: Xi Jinping's power is facing an unprecedented challenge. Whatever the outcome, this storm around the fourth plenum may soon redraw the CCP's political map. On the eve of the plenum, the PLA Daily sends an unusual signal. As Kai's leak spread overseas, another signal from within the system shook public opinion. The PLA Daily on October 6 abruptly published a short commentary, unusually acknowledging that instability and uncertainty are increasing, and demanding the whole military maintain combat readiness, the arrow on the string, ready to release. Publishing such a piece on the eve of the plenum immediately sparked speculation. The article piled on phrases of high tension like sharpen troops and feed horses and sleep on arms waiting for dawn, and stressed ready at all times, able to fight at any time. Compared to the CCP's usual habit of diverting focus to external threats during domestic instability, the language was seen as a clear political hint. In fact, it's not the first time the PLA has released a combat readiness signal amid high-level turbulence. Since 2023, senior military figures have vanished or been investigated one after another. Former Defense Minister Li Shangfu and Political Work Department Director Miao Hua fell. CMC Vice Chair He Weidong has been silent since March. Now only Zhang Youxia remains publicly visible at the CMC's top, leading many to believe the military power structure is extremely imbalanced. Some military observers say the real purpose of the PLA Daily piece is not to warm up for external war, but to build momentum for internal stability. US-based military host Mark analyzes, when does the CCP shout unity? When it is least united. The more they fear chaos, the more they shout readiness. He believes morale is low and a power vacuum severe, and the authorities keep intensifying training and reasserting loyalty to divert attention and prevent anxiety and doubt in the ranks. On Zhang Youxia, standing alone, Taiwanese scholar Hung Yaonan comments that such centralized stability hides huge risk. If Zhang loses position for political or health reasons, the whole CMC could collapse instantly. This is the CCP's most dangerous military power structure since the Cultural Revolution. Meanwhile, during the National Day period, she still publicly talked of opposing Taiwan independence and preventing external interference, but experts generally think this is more internal mobilization than external provocation. China scholar Wang He notes the CCP has shifted from a past period of strategic opportunity to a period of security risk, revealing an increasingly pessimistic assessment. With economic decline and intensifying infighting, combat readiness becomes a pretext for regime stability, an expression of anxiety, not competence. At this sensitive moment, the PLA Daily short piece is viewed as an advance political signal. Ostensibly about readiness, its true target is political loyalty. It speaks not of war preparation, but of preventing renewed shifts in military sentiment within the system. For a regime whose leadership authority shows cracks, the arrow on the string may be aimed not at a battlefield but at Zhang Nanhai itself. Rumor of a gang of four in the military shocks Beijing, Peng Liyuan named. On the same day the PLA Daily shouted ready at any time, a supposed urgent notice from inside the military circulated online, alleging that a counter-revolutionary group called the Gang of Four in the military is being investigated, including He Weidong, Miao Hua, Eastern Theater Commander Lin Xiangyang, and, surprisingly, Peng Liyuan, Xi's wife. This document was first publicized by content creator Shandong Hifu, said to have come from a mainland member of the Huaxia Freedom Party inside the PLA. Titled Urgent Notice on the Serious Investigation and Handling of the PLA's Current Counter-Revolutionary Group Gang of Four in the Military, it uses the rare term current counter-revolutionary to list offenses, forming a clique to seize leadership of party and army, and secretly plotting against Zhang Youxia. According to the text, He Weidong allegedly built a loyal guard as a private militia. Miao Hua is the spiritual godfather, promoting new bloodline replacing old forces within the army. Lin Xiangyang handles intelligence and operations, suspected of plotting an attack on Zhang Youxia. Peng Liyuan is accused of using cultural tours as cover to deliver secret letters for Xi and liaise with military confidants. Once out, the notice triggered an uproar. The term current counter-revolutionary was officially abolished by the late 1990s, and the writing style reads more like a Cultural Revolution era denunciation. Most observers doubt its authenticity and find it unlikely to be an official CMC document today. Still, authenticity aside, its emergence is seen as a highly political warning. Some analysts say it may be a deterrent signal from anti-Xi forces in the military toward Xi's camp. If she does not cede power at the plenum, Peng Liyuan and the family core will be pushed to the front lines of public judgment. Others note that though dubious, parts of the content align with real-world personnel trends. He Weidong, Miao Hua, and Lin Xiangyang have indeed vanished or been investigated this year, with top ranks gutted. Zhang Youxia remains the only visible CMC vice chair. This staffing picture dovetails with the purging a gang of four narrative. US-based commentator Chen Pokong argues, the key isn't whether the document is genuine, but the political psyche it reflects. People in the military now dare to send messages to the first family in the public arena. From the 1976 Gang of Four to today's Gang of Four in the military, the name itself symbolizes that the power struggle is entering a liquidation phase. Analysts also note the timing is delicate. With 2 weeks left before the plenum, throwing out the Gang of Four in the military storyline effectively pre-frames public opinion. She is no longer the core, but a potential target of reckoning. For anti-Xi forces, it's not just a public opinion war but psychological warfare, turning the core into a lonely minister. Although the document cannot be officially verified, when interwoven with readiness calls, concentrated military power, and missing generals, it forms a bizarre picture. The military's loyalty order is being redefined. Changes in the propaganda system, party media's 8 in a row puts the pot on Xi. Beyond the military and high-level turbulence, the propaganda system has sent unusual signals ahead of the plenum. From September 30th to October 7th, the CCP mouthpiece People's Daily ran 8 consecutive days of op-eds under a column titled China's Economy under the Implementation of Xi Jinping Economic Thought, all signed by Zhong Kaiwen. This column is a dedicated platform for Xi's economic thought. A run of 8 pieces isn't complicated in background. On the surface they focus on the economy and elevate Xi's economic thought, yet the texts dwell on headwinds and growth pressure, repeatedly emphasizing severe challenges, complex conditions, and the need to adhere to centralized unified leadership. In effect, they point responsibility for the downturn and decision-making errors quietly toward Xi himself, putting the economic slump's big pot on his head, classic low-level red, high-level black. Some analysts see this guidance as a defensive posture inside the propaganda system, declaring loyalty and political self-protection, while leaving room for a possible power turn. If the political wind shifts after the plenum, these high-profile praises of Xi can serve as cutout evidence. We fulfilled our loyalty, any mistakes weren't on subordinates. Meanwhile, dissatisfaction within the system is spreading. In early October, an anonymous post claiming to be from a mid-level CCTV staffer surfaced overseas, saying no one inside the big underpants truly respects Xi, and calling CCTV programming wall-to-wall sycophancy, nauseating. The piece quickly resonated across Chinese language spheres. Many netizens felt it revealed real emotional fractures inside official media. Behind the endless paeans lies a group of editors and directors editing with the window open, masking weariness with self-deprecation. Thus, as the military floats talk of readiness and purges, the propaganda system expresses anxiety in another way, lips praising, pen cutting. This contradiction shows that on the eve of the plenum, the CCP system is not only a battleground of power struggle but a full-spectrum quake-proofing project, everyone protecting themselves, everyone watching. Storm approaches. As the 4th plenum nears, Beijing's political air grows heavier. From Kaishinkuan's leak, to the PLA Daily's sudden readiness signal, to Gang of Four in the military rumors and the party press's low red, high black, a chain of anomalies points to one core: the power balance within the CCP is being torn. Historically, every CCP power inflection has come with black box operations and sudden events. Today's plenum may look like a meeting on economy and reform, but in reality is becoming a collective judgment on the current leader's authority. Whether the result is forced retreat or compromise, the meeting will decide the next chapter of Chinese politics: continuation under stability, or the silence before upheaval. Beijing's nights remain seemingly calm, but that silent Zongnanhai may be brewing a storm capable of rewriting the power landscape.